Hit Season 2.
Right now, depending on who they send out, I think I saw him walk to the booth, but I'm not exactly sure.
I got the spoiler here.
Oh, man.
Let's not tell anyone what race he is. There he is, it's herO.
Oh my god, all right, so this is maybe more deja vu, going up in game 2 versus a Zerg player. Didn't work out for herO yesterday. Is today the day for CJ and for herO? We'll have to find out.
Rogue looking a little bit nervous, or like his neck is hurting. Something's going on for him.
Gotta get those icy hot patches on, man.
Hope he's on his game tonight.
Pulled a muscle carrying his team.
Yeah, perhaps, dude. He's done that a bunch of times. That's
a tasteless build right there.
The tasteless build?
Yeah, earlier on this season, he like hurt his neck really badly.
Oh, right, yeah.
So gotta get that going on. You can see the insane win rate there from herO. You just look at that and you're like, how do you literally get that many wins? Like, are there that many games? I guess when you play every game for your team.
Yeah, I mean, one thing we mentioned is that there's not another round. There's no round 4, and there's one less team, and he only got 2 less wins than he did last year. How is that even possible?
Turns out he's pretty good at Starcraft too.
Yeah, seems that way. Guys, it looks like we're getting ready to start game number 2 here on New Gettysburg between Rogue and herO. Let's take a look at the percentages.
Oh man, CJ getting a little bit of love. Even when CJ were losing yesterday, they were still ahead in the vote out there. So get out there, hashtag CJ win or JAG win. Let us know and stick around as we get into game number 2, Rogue versus herO.
Down here in the bottom left, in the green for the generic green wings, it is Rogue.
And over in the bottom right, for the CJ Entis yellow wings, is herO. I guess one of the little blobs on the CJ emblem is yellow.
You know.
They could also be red if they want to go with that. I don't think that would make very much sense.
It's like kind of in a wing shape, a little bit.
Kind of? Maybe it's like a butterfly and it's got those 4 wings. Is that what it's supposed to be?
I think it's actually what it's supposed to be. Let me see if I can find their logo here in the studio. Oh, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't
not
have
the same.
Yeah, it's not the. Well, that's Entis Pro Gaming is the pro gaming division, and it's CJ that sponsors Entis. So it's all kinds of craziness, but no craziness initially happening here. It's just Hatch first, no real pressure to put on, and I still have yet to totally wrap my brain fully around New Gettysburg. It's like old Gettysburg was damaging enough for my country, so seeing a second one this time around in the future, we'll see how this one goes. It does look like just setting up a wall here for an early expo, although that is 2 gates first.
Gonna go 2 gates here, and let's see if he goes for the 2 Adepts, or if he wants to go the 2 Stalker build. He used this yesterday. Both him and MC actually did go for this build against Zerg.
Kind of wonder if it's like a CJ build, or if it's just something that they work on.
That's what Dan was saying yesterday, actually, Artosis. He was like, yeah, it just seems like CJ as a team thinks this is the way to play the early game against Zerg nowadays as Protoss.
All the CJ guys kind of getting together and they're like, hey man, this is the way to go. So you just like, you like screen peek enough times and you see that's always what the other guys in your house are doing. It's like, hey, maybe I should try that out here. But next is up here for herO, and a kind of interesting situation. So for Protoss, obviously, if you do have air superiority, makes taking those island bases extremely easy. You can basically get pretty easy 4 bases if you do have that air superiority. Of course, Zerg pretty bad at air until you got tech up to mutas, so in fact they actually just have no air until you get mutalist. Well, I guess they have overlords.
Yeah, basically you just have to rely on drops, and we did see some of that. I think it was versus a free guy. I can't really remember. Maybe Curious was playing that way. But herO actually mixes it up here. He goes for 2 Adepts, and maybe this is because Rogue, you know, he was watching the games yesterday, obviously, right? He was studying herO. They needed a sniper for herO. He's their ace player. And he was like, no, he's probably going to go Stalker. So he didn't make all that many lings. Only now is he committing to a lot of lings.
All right, yeah, 4 coming out at the moment. Speed about halfway done, and here comes the double adept pressure. Didn't actually go for that double stalker, but enough Zerglings to be able to deal with this, and of course more coming out. No real damage done just yet, but a nice scout sneaking by that pylon.
You mean exploration, right?
Oh my god. You're
No,
rubbing
I really
off on
like
me
that.
too
I'm like,
much.
yeah.
Well, these adepts are exploring right next to 8-range queens, but turns out they're actually way too slow. The queens are too slow, but these Zerglings just fast enough to stick around, stay alive, and Probes, what do they have to say about that one? Doesn't want to lose one, but kind of uncharacteristic to not have that blocked off with a unit.
Yeah, this is kind of annoying to deal with. You know, you have to pull Probes a bunch, and he actually gets away with one Ling, herO Ling here.
That is a super lucky Zergling. It's like, I'm not even worth 1 supply, but...
No! The caster curse, man!
Excuse me, pardon me, just coming through. Hope you guys don't mind, just chilling. And the adepts are just like, well, I mean, it's 1 Zergling. How much of a difference could that really make? Well, it turns out it makes actually a pretty big difference.
I like want to target that Zergling and see where he ends up by the end of the game, if he still survives and how many kills he gets.
You're going to get that achievement for like killing 40 units with 1 unit. I always just got that off of like Ultralisk because I think it's easier that way. But hey, man, that Zergling can survive all of that, man. He's seen things.
He has, man, including the entire Protoss base and all the units.
I've seen the end. They spared no one. Not even the women and children or adepts. Well, I guess they
or
spared
that dead
Zerglings.
Marine on the ground.
Yeah, man, that guy did not see it coming. Is that a Marine? He had like a pretty big gun for a Marine.
That was, I don't know what that was actually.
It's like his charred body.
An army guy. That's what it was. There's a lot of adepts coming in here.
Okay, Glaive's not close to being done, so these are just going to be plain adepts. Enough Zerglings to push them back, and so just putting out a little bit of pressure, forcing those queens away from the hatcheries.
Yeah, nicely done. Also with 1 Zergling here, does delay the 3rd base of herO for a bit. We do have a lot of Banelings being made here, 6 in total, and getting burrow.
Okay.
So is he going to burrow the bridge?
I mean, I guess that's good. I feel like there's more than just the bridge to get to the enemy base. Obviously, that's the fastest way, but correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't see too many Zergs getting burrow versus Protoss, because, I mean, observers are out there.
Yeah, it doesn't really happen unless you're going burrowed roaches, which we don't really see anymore.
Usually you get the burrow when you're getting the burrow movement at the same time, and we haven't really seen roaches at all anyway, so... okay, there you go, the adepts. You don't want to shade on top of Banelings. I think we saw MC do that yesterday. He just like ran a ton of like zealots right into Banelings. They all explode, and you're like, oh, probably want to avoid that. Get the bigger tanking units out there. But here the adepts finish their shade up by the 3rd base. And herO's got a 3rd base almost complete himself, so anytime you're on par on bases against the Zerg, you're feeling pretty good. But some nice Zerglings
There's a lot of Lings coming in. He is going to overcharge, but Rogue's going to commit to this.
Enough.
Yeah, he's going to commit to this, and he also commits to the Nexus, and there's no units over there.
Nothing protecting this 3rd base either. The Nexus will complete, and it's going to die. That's 400 minerals off the map.
Oh, man.
Nice Zergling counterattack, and wait, he didn't... Okay, I thought he had actually burrowed some of those Zerglings there at the end.
He did. They're there.
Oh my god.
That's so annoying.
Oh, they're in the middle. Yeah, I did not see that. It's like, why can't I build here? It's because you have tiny probe arms.
herO is being bopped here. Like,
damn.
Rogue just comes in with new styles all the time and just... It's not like he's doing anything crazy new, but the burrow, you know, he's going to go for the burrowed Banelings for sure. And also the heavy run-bys at the 3rd base. herO not really... expecting that, not defending it well.
So how does he clear these? Just gonna scan it, right? No.
Yeah, just go for a scan, man.
That's the build right there. I mean,
that's a tasteless build for sure.
Yeah, if the
scan is Protoss.
If in the end of the campaign you can combine Protoss and Zerg units, can't you just combine, you know, Protoss and Terran, get the scans whenever you need them? So yeah, that 3rd base is going to be super late now that it was canceled. I mean, if that had gone up and all that adept harassment had paid off for herO, he could be with a huge lead right now. But right now, he's on 2 base, 4th base just coming up for Rogue.
Look at what he's doing here. He's actually going to go for the all-in with +1 and Blink. He added a bunch of gates and has a warp prism flying across the map as well. Does get supply blocked, and he has a ton of minerals and gas here. Does need to make some pylons.
Little does Rogue know that he's actually blocked the Nexus for so long it's not even been started up again. But a big force out on the map here for herO. Warpins coming in as these Overlords get targeted down. It's going to limit some of the creep. He does have an observer there to take out the creep tumors. He does push in, but a huge amount of Zerglings right at the front of herO's base. He doesn't have anything at home. Where are these Banelings going to go? Some decent force field, but they actually aren't good enough to stop the Banelings from rolling in.
And not enough Banelings either. There are some behind these force fields. It looks like Rogue is going to go for these surrounds.
This flank is going to be so sick. Does he have the force fields that he needs? It looks like he does not. The Hydras are out, and the force fields will block them away as this force from herO does take care of a few of the Zerglings, but there's just nothing else out on the map for herO.
herO just doesn't have enough stuff. He lost his warp prism. He couldn't warp in. He's warping 7 Stalkers in at home, and he still has a ton of minerals and gas, getting supply block twice on his way over. Now he's like, well, I guess I rely on disruptors and hope I get the magical shots off.
Well, he's throwing down a third base, so he realizes there's no way to actually just straight up fight this force coming out of Rogue, but I mean, Rogue has total map control. He's actually building up for, what was that? Oh, I thought it was drops coming in, but he's actually just making some changes, clearing out the map in full control of this game.
And Rogue is not going to let him tech up here. I'm not even sure that he's going to let him get that third base. Rogue knows how far ahead he is.
What is herO doing out here? He's actually just going to, okay, blink away, try to just poke in little by little, but there's nothing he can do. There's just way too many Hydralisks. What is that, like 30 Hydralisks?
Let me actually check. It is 31. You're really close.
So good.
By the way, that Zergling died from the beginning of the game.
Damn it.
Yeah. Poor
so
guy.
close. See, that's how you build narratives and storylines. You know, the little Zergling that lived. It's like the little engine that could, but with the Zergling, who's generally probably not as resolute, stalwart as an engine.
Doesn't resolute work? Does that work?
No, that just means
Maybe
that you're
not.
really determined to do something.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that you get... Okay.
Rogue is very determined to do something, and that's to kill herO right now.
Oh, man. No force fields to stop these Banelings. Where's your pylon overcharge now? Well, it's right there, but it's not really going to do a whole lot.
He could have force fielded the ramp, but he didn't even do that.
Oh, here's the disruptor shot! Oh my god, that's actually so sick! Turns out not sick enough.
Not enough disruptors to come in here. He's still fighting, funnily enough, but you guys can see in the supplies, down 50.
He's building 30 Zerglings at the same time, and yeah, there's no way. Stalkers are good units, man, but they're not this good.
Yeah.
herO got that third base canceled and just never able to recover. He's trying the blink micro, but you can't really blink too well when you get surrounded by Zerglings. Well, he did sneak away there. That base.
herO talking to himself in the booth. He's like, God damn it, what's going on? Why can't I beat Rogue? Why is Rogue so good against all Protoss players nowadays?
He's like, well, things were going good until I lost all my stuff.
Yeah.
A little bit unfortunate, and though he will be able to create a nice choke point here, the Zerglings will eventually slip through, and even though those disruptor shots were pretty good, there's still way too much. GG.
There it is. Rogue takes the win, and it's going to be all tied up 1-1.
herO, really that guy for CJ that you rely on really heavily to get you more than just one win. And to be fair, this is exactly the way that things played out yesterday. herO came out, he won the first game, he lost game number 2 to a Zerg, and now, is this really where we see the MC come back?
Perhaps. Maybe they want to try someone like Bunny first? So what's the map here? It's Overgrowth, which is actually the map that Bunny came out on against Curious yesterday.
That was
and he got wrecked.
Not a fun game. Yeah, Bunny, it was like little Bunny foo-foo, but instead of bopping anything else on the head, he definitely got bopped when he was hopping around Overgrowth. So want to avoid probably the Bunny, although maybe he's come out, you know, he's had that transcendent awakening.
You know, we were talking about this actually at the beginning of the day, that it could actually be Ragnarok today, because
that is true.
Ragnarok, he's playing a bit better nowadays. He could go into a ZVZ, right? Try to snipe Rogue here. Not sure how well it would work. We also did see him there on the bench still, so doesn't look like he's even setting up his stuff for today.
Yeah, so probably not going to come out. I mean, you probably expect out of CJ to see at least MC, Biol, and then probably Hush, I guess, would be the other one, maybe?
It's just that Hush has had the worst season.
Oh, yeah, he's like 0-8 right now, right?
He's like 0-8, yeah.
Okay.
Ragnarok hasn't played much at all. It's just basically been a lot of Bunny, and Hush has come out a bunch of times, but he hasn't won a single game. So
Okay.
I think their only choice here is Bunny if they're not going to use Ragnarok.
But is Bunny like the sacrificial lamb you use to
I
like
guess so.
fatigue Rogue down? I mean, Rogue is not, you know, up there on like Maru level of win rates. So he's one of those guys that's actually mortal and can lose games. Although to be fair, herO's been a little bit immortal this season too, and he is now out of here. So what does CJ go to? Yesterday, MC was their answer. We'll find out right after this commercial break. So tell your friends, get on in here, and it looks like we're not having the commercial.